Well, welcome to the Okanogan Forest Channel. Today, I'm along the Puget Sound here in the Pacific Northwest. And there are planes overhead, trains nearby, and ferries about to leave port. But what I want to talk to you about today is what I believe is the very best bushcraft hiking walking stick ever made. What's good for you? And what I want to do is give you a few choices, and I'll give you a chance to take a look at the ones that I have, and then we can talk about it, and you can come up with your own suggestion on what you think the very best hiking stick ever made is for you. Because after all, everybody's criteria is a little bit different. And I hope you can hear me. The first one I'm going to show you I've had for a very long time. Let's first of all wave to the ferry as it disappears across the sound. This one I've had now for almost 30 years. And yep, you can see basically all it is an old ski pole that's been wrapped with cord, has a compass on it, okay? You see the compass? Also has a very old Chinese coin on it, but what's this red stuff? You'll be interested in this. I carried this walking stick for 500 miles on the PCT, and it was very important to me because at times it could be a tent pole, it could help me cross creeks, but it also had a horse's tail. That's what this is, a horse's tail. And believe me, when you're going through country where there's a lot of yellow jackets or a lot of mosquitoes, using this thing like this occasionally really does make a huge difference. Now you're going to laugh at me, but this particular walking stick, what do you think I paid for it? Now 30 years ago was 30 years ago, but I got it at a garage sale for 25 cents. Of course the cord cost more than that, but my point is I've used it all these years and it's still one of my favorite walking sticks, and it didn't really cost me anything. So one of the themes that you'll see in most of my videos is frugality. Let's take a look at some other walking sticks and just make some comparisons. A year or so ago, I went into a secondhand shop and found another hiking pole. This one cost me $5, but I didn't expect to need a horse's tail on it, so I just wrapped it and made it so that I can hike with it regularly, and it's very nice. It doesn't have a compass or anything like that. The point is, look around and think about the things that you have in your life and what you can use that will make a good walking stick. Here again, some other examples. A collapsible one and another garage sale purchase. These are both made for my daughter and my spouse. I put compasses on them just so that they would have a compass with them. Now, I just said be frugal. How long ago now? About 15 years ago I was in Beijing and I needed a walking stick, so I actually bought this German collapsible walking stick and have used it ever since, and it's been well worth the price. But I had to pay a quote pretty penny for it, but at that time that was the choice I had inside Beijing, where I couldn't get out in the woods and I didn't know where I could cut a sapling to make a walking stick. But the big benefit of this one, and I've used this a lot for videos, is right here. You can put a camera on here, and I have used this as a plumb to keep my video camera upright on a number of the videos that I've made on Okanogan Forest Channel. So even though I had to pay top dollar for this, I've now used it for more than 15 years, and so it still, in my mind, represents a very good value. Along the same line, here's an old cross-country pole that I put some electrician's tape on, and it's a little bit more flexible, but there are times when you want something like that too. A couple years ago I was in China, and I bought one of these collapsible hiking sticks, and I paid $1.25 in a tourist trap. Now what I'm saying is that these are cheap, and when companies like REI, and I think they're the biggest villain in this case, when companies like REI sell these to you for $50 or more dollars, most of that is going to pay the middle people and to enrich the leadership of REI, the people that work there, the executives. So I wouldn't recommend these. Furthermore, they don't last that long. They begin to break down, the plastic doesn't work that well, and it just isn't as good as just a full, used, recycled old hiking pole. And here's something that some of you serious hikers have probably seen before and have maybe even used, but this is an ice axe. This is an ice axe that I've had for a long time, and as you know, if you're hiking across glaciers, sometimes you have to have something that you can rest with. In other words, stop yourself if you begin to fall. It could be very dangerous. Well, these are great. It's a little heavy, but the problem with most of the ice axes that you'll see now is that they're not long enough. They're not long enough to be a cane that you could use like this when you're walking across those glacier-filled streams and you need a third leg. So this one's one that I bought again years ago, but it's quite long. And when I have a need for that kind of tool, this is the one that I use. Now let's change tracks a little bit. I'm thinking now of all my friends north of the border in Canada. What could be better for a walking stick than a recycled hockey stick? And that's what I have here. Okay, cut the bottom off. It's just about the right length. You can use it in a number of situations, and it works really, really well. I don't know about you. I'm now standing along Puget Sound. You see another ferry coming in there. Standing along Puget Sound, and I like to beachcomb. I like to walk along the beach and look for things. Well, being an old goat that I am, I get kind of tired of leaning over to pick up a stone. So some years ago, I made this walking stick, and it's a little different than many that you'll see. I just got a broom pole, and then I found a stainless steel spoon and put it on the bottom. Now, the spoon is high enough so that you can use it as a regular stick. But when you see that gem, when you see that agate or that beautiful rock there in the surf, you can just lean over and pick it up with this thing and take a look at it. It's great fun. This too didn't cost me very much, but the number of hours that I have gotten of pleasure out of this are really quite remarkable. So it's a great, great choice. Now this was actually a gift, so I don't know what it cost, but this is Diamond Willow from Montana, and it was made, and the point of this one is to say you can make a lot of great walking sticks by just going into the woods, as some people on YouTube have said, and cut a sapling, cut it to the right length, and do what you want to do. I've used this a lot, mostly walking in the city, but nonetheless, this kind of stick is also very good. And here's a walking stick that you may have thought of. At one time, it was a garden tool, but the garden tool broke, and now I've got this, and it's quite strong. It's got a nice rubber top. Again, we're not spending a lot of money, and that's kind of the emphasis of what I'm trying to talk about here. Here's one that's a little different. And you know what I think of when I see this, because it's really what it is. It is a staff like a sheepherder staff. It's tall. What it really is these are sold in agricultural stores for moving cattle around or getting livestock around, but it makes a great stick. And the length is just about right so that I can lean on it or do whatever I want to do. And I've enjoyed it a lot. I put this historical Oregon Trail little sticker on it when this celebration for that took place years ago, and I've used it for a number of years. I did have to buy it, and it cost me about $10, but it was worth it, and it's been very, very useful. Now let's change tracks a little bit. You know, there's a lot of people on YouTube that talk about making hiking sticks, and I have to laugh because how many of them, they have a brand new sapling, it's clean and white, and they've never actually used the stick. Most of these I've used for years. And you know, for a while there was a And there are several really good videos on YouTube about making a hiking stick where you can store stuff in the stick. And that's what I did with this one. This is just PVC pipe, and it's got a cap on each end. I can unscrew that cap, and then there's actually a great deal of space in there that you could have matches or a Ferris rod or a knife or any number of things, ammunition, things that would work. And I really haven't used this, but it was just a project that I wanted to do because I wanted to see if it would really be a good hiking stick. The height is good. It comes up to my chin, which is about where I like to have a stick. It's really sturdy, so I think it probably would work well, but I would want to finish it off with some cord, wrapping it with cord, or putting some Ranger bands on it so you had a better handle, and maybe doing something with the bottom. Right now, both ends unscrew, and so you can get at it from either side. And I think the best way is if you have something, you attach it to a little string or something like that, and then attach that to inside of the cap, and then you can pull things out. Anyway, and you can find some great examples of building these walking sticks on YouTube. Now we're going to change again. Some years ago, before it flooded, I did some hiking in the three gorges of the Yangtze River. And the guy that I was hiking with was a white Kenyan that was a real hiker. He's really an interesting guy. And you know what he used for a walking stick? All the time. He used just an old-fashioned umbrella. And that's what he used. It was long enough he could use it as a cane, and if the weather was bad, he could use it for what an umbrella is really used for, and that worked really well for him. So basically, think about that. You know, I've seen some literature on hiking where you've got backpackers using an umbrella, and it's not a bad idea. So that really works. Now with this one, this is another livestock cane. It's what you would use. It happens to be long enough that you can also use it for walking, but it's really designed so that you can move livestock. But I want to change tracks again because now I want to talk about hobos. There's a great literature here in North America that deals with hobos. And hobos are really interesting people in how they use things. This is one of the walking sticks that I have gotten because I wanted to think about what it's like to be a hobo. I don't know how well you can see this photo, but this is a photo. I'll try to get it up there so that you can see it. It's a photo of a little boy, 3 or 4 years old, with a hobo bindle or bag on a stick, on his shoulder, walking with his dog. The interesting thing about that is that that's a picture of me more than 60 years ago. It's taken by my mother. So I've always been interested in walking sticks for a long time. But here's what I want you to think about. How many of you have gotten on a plane at some point and traveled around the world and you're not happy with the seat, you're not happy with the way you've been able to take your luggage? Well, here's an idea that you might consider, and this is a little different, but you could also use this for backpacking. And that is, get yourself a conventional cane like that. That's just like the animal cane, but here's the one that I use. It's collapsible. Okay? And what do I do with that? Well, when I walk up to the person that's giving seating on the plane or to get my seat, I show them this cane and say, well, I'd really like to have such and such seat. And typically they'll give it to you. But here's the other thing you do. Instead of having the conventional suitcase or the conventional carry-on, you have a hobo bindle or bag. Now this is just a Kia bag. But what I'll do is I'll put this on here like this, put this up on my shoulder, and I've actually traveled all the way around the world just like this. And it's surprising how much of your stuff you can put in a double bagged, a Kia bag, and carry it for a long distance. It's light. You were able to get a good seat because of the cane. If a mean dog comes along, you can use this cane to bop them. So there are some advantages to something like this. By the way, this is a like a handicap cane that I bought at a secondhand store for, I think it was $3.50. So it met my standard for frugality, but it also was just a really, really good tool. Now, I've showed you pretty much all of the walking sticks that I have, and I would like you to think for a minute about my question. And that is, what is the very best hiking stick ever made? I don't think it's one that's just been made and somebody's made a video of. I think it's more likely one that somebody's used for a number of years. I also think that use helps you understand what is good and what is bad. There is one video on YouTube that talks about not spending any money, making it yourself. I like that. That's a very good way to go. Make your own walking stick and practice with it and use it, and you'll figure it out. But I also think that if you get it secondhand at a store, I'll show you one more stick that's important. Here's a blackthorn. You can get on the internet and see these. This is an antique blackthorn walking stick, and its unique characteristic is that there's that big knot up on the top. And that's just a root knot. And the way you walk with it is with that knot in your palm, and you can walk really well. And it certainly would also work very good for our hobo idea. See? But if you get on the internet and take a look at blackthorn canes or walking sticks, you'll also see that they're used for self-defense. So one of the things that we haven't talked about too much here is how these various tools might be used for self-defense against a mean dog when you're walking along the street or some other kind of situation. And that's also important. So I guess when we're talking about what is the best hiking stick ever made, it kind of depends on how you're going to use it. But I hope this video has given you a chance to think about these things, take a look at the other videos about hiking sticks, and above all else, don't spend your money on some expensive shooting stick or hiking stick that some commercial entity like REI is trying to sell you. I hope you enjoy this video. I'd love to hear from you. I welcome comments. I hope you're having a good day, and we'll have a very good hike the next time you have your new hiking stick with you. Take care and be safe. Again, welcome to the Okanogan Forest channel. I have the best hiking cup ever made up for you to look at, and I also have a video on the best bushcraft knife that you might want to look at. So you can take a look at all those if you like. In the meantime, take care, be safe, and I'd love to hear from you.